Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. We're going to Pocono, Pennsylvania today, the High Point 400. Glad you could join us. Todd Bailing in beautiful Greendale, Wisconsin, joined by my two partners, starting with Dan Margetta of St. Francis, USA. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Good morning. Pocono's always kind of cool because it's that triangle shape. It's just an odd track. It's not like a normal track you go to, so it always seems to produce a pretty good race somehow.
And Brian Schmidt of Utzberg, Wisconsin. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him race at Pocono. That used to always be the big yawner because he raced there twice in a matter of like 2 months. But now that it's only once a year and it's only a 400-miler, not a 500-miler, it makes it kind of interesting to see, and it's very unique. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what happens today.
And William Byron will start from the pole. Byron, 170.629 miles per hour, won the game show that is the starting lineup, top 10. Byron has had quite the week. He won down at Pensacola in the Southern Super Series. When was that? Thursday night? Friday night?
Friday night.
And they yanked it away from him for some infraction. So we'll make sure one of our guys wins. You NASCAR guys. You can't just come in here and come up with a cheated up car. So that's the way it should be, right? Byron, he might be the guy. Hey, did you guys notice how Byron has kind of elbowed his way to the top spot at Hendrick Motorsports ahead of Kyle Larson? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was Larson though, right, Brian? I mean, he's the kind of guy that can just rattle him off in a hurry.
Yeah, this is kind of the part of the season, if you look over the last several years, where Larson kind of just lays in the weeds. You know, they try different stuff. You know, he's got himself secured in the playoffs. He's going to be a factor no matter what. And they just, work on different things, tweak things, and then he'll hit it hard again come maybe September. That's kind of what you seem to see out of Larson. You don't want to say it because it's not what Hendrick wants to hear, but it's almost like Larson kind of focuses on his dirt stuff now. He goes and wins a bunch of that stuff. He won this Tuesday. He does a lot of that, and then he'll get back to the hitting the NASCAR stuff hard when it counts a little more.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine if the old man thought that really? What did I get myself into? If you got the best driver alive, you should be winning more races with him. By the way, speaking of Hendrick Motorsports, here's a good question. Will Chase Elliott make the playoffs this year? It's looking pretty sketchy. He's going to have to win a race. How's he doing in the points? Will he be eligible?
I think he's got to make up a bunch of points in the short amount of time. It's going to have to come through a win. It's getting shorter and shorter to do it on points, especially without any stage points and stage wins. He's not really dominating or running up front like he needs to.
He just doesn't look like himself since he got injured, a self-inflicted injury early in the year. And how about Bowman, who used to be the showman? How long can Hendrick be patient with guys such as Bowman, who has won races, who has made the chase or the playoffs? He's one of the guys, and then all of a sudden falls off the end of there. It's a little bit like looking at Stewart Haas Racing. What happened there? Half of Hendrick is underperforming. All of Stewart Haas is underperforming. And there's other guys that are stepping up. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? Are we in a transition here?
Well, they have the built-in excuses this year for both Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. Bowman missed a race there because of his injury. Chase missed a lot of them. So this year will kind of be the excused year, I would think. And it just seems to throw your whole momentum off and everything that you had going for you off when you miss a week. You wouldn't think that would happen, but it's very obvious. The people that miss a week, it screws your whole process up and changes the whole way everything operates. So, Chase Elliott's got a long way to go. He's 295 points out of first, and he's a good 60, if my math is correct. 60. He's 60 points out of the last spot right now. Michael McDowell's he's 432, and Chase Elliott is 372. So he's got a ways. He's 60 points he's got to make up. That's not going to happen. So he's going to have to win a race.
He's going to have to win, and today would be one that he would be the guy. I would think one of the tracks. How about this? He won this last year. This would be one of the tracks that they've got circled as we better win. If we're going to win one, Pocono would be the place to do it.
Well, he won it, but if you remember, he finished third in the race, and he was a ways behind those. So this was the one. This is the big race last year where the two Gibbs cars were thrown out. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin actually won the race, finished across the line first. Kyle Busch for the second. Was this the one, Dan, where they had the stickers on the car?
Yeah, it was something to do with the unapproved tape or something like that they didn't take off.
In the truest tradition, remembering Jimmy Wildman Watson when you say things like that, who was a master of doing stuff like that. If you would like to participate in this program, we would love to hear from you. The telephone number is 414-421-7901. It's easy to do, and we'd love to hear from you. Bowman, if he doesn't make the playoffs, it seems to me like, that would kind of – you're not going to replace Chase Elliott. Bowman, on the other hand, you're going to have to step up your game. And I think either one of them is capable of making it into the playoffs. Both of them would be, expected to make the playoffs, it seems to me. But Bowman has been pretty quiet. And, part of it was the fact that he broke his back. That can't be easy to race coming off of a broken back.
It all comes down to a sponsor and what Ally Bank says. If they're happy with him, I think he's okay. If they aren't or they want more performance, then he's in trouble. I mean, Ally signed on with Jimmy Johnson, remember? I mean, they kind of got Alex Bowman by default. So.
And also, you would think, okay, if someone just would happen to be in trouble, they must have somebody in mind that they would like to put into that car that would be better than Bowman the showman. Is there somebody in the Chevy pipeline that's ready to go? Also, it's the pipeline that we're talking about. Which drivers are out there that are waiting and ready for a cup ride that are better than the guys that they're going to replace? Part of that, I was going to talk about it, but this week it was a pretty big story. Justin Haley, who you might have thought of him as a back marker, you might have thought a colleague as kind of back markers, but they've really stepped up and they're really I would call them a mid-range team now. And Haley has really done a nice job in that car. He damn near won Chicago if we hadn't heard of Shane Van Gisbergen. So Haley is told, listen, you've done a nice job for us, but you don't bring money, so we're going to replace you here at Colleague. So Justin Haley is out after this year in that 31 car, and he's going to Rick Ware. And you say to yourself, Rick Ware, this guy has done nothing. It's a Backmarker Incorporated team. Well, how can he do himself any favors by going to Rick Ware Racing?
Well, on the Cup side, Rick Ware is a backmarker team. As an industry, they are not. I mean, he's currently got Cup Series cars, Indy cars, IMSA cars. His Indy cars wins every now and then. He's combined. I can't remember if he's combined with Dale Coyne or it's a different team. But he's got some pretty good. His NHRA stuff is lights out. His NHRA team is winning on a regular basis. I think they just won last week. In Denver. So they're good. Their IMSA stuff is solid equipment. So the only thing they're really struggling at is the Cup Series stuff. And if you look at a guy that has that many different platforms going and they're all successful with the exception of one, you would think to yourself, well, sooner or later they're going to get that one on the top of the board too. And maybe adding a Justin Haley will be what it takes for them to get over the hump. Obviously, they still need the resources to get that far. But, I mean, they're in an alliance, I believe, with Brad, with Roush Keselowski. So,
well, that's the whole key. Keselowski was behind this whole signing of Rick Ware putting Justin Haley and Rick Ware's cars, because that is a satellite of Roush freaking Keselowski Racing. Remember, Justin Haley is only 24 years old. He's got his best days ahead of him yet, and he certainly is showing the talent to go over there. So what does this all mean? Are we going to just nurture him so that when Keselowski retires in a couple of years, the 6 car is going to go to Justin Haley? Don't think it's all that impossible. That's really not bad. It just blows me away, though, that Colleague, who I didn't think was hurting for cash themselves, would want to do away with Justin Haley. The question is now, who's going to go in Colleague's second car? You got AJ Allmendinger, who obviously brings money over there, and Justin Haley. They're going to look for another guy to bring money. Back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Check this out. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited. With Colin Cowherd.
And you know what they're looking for in this series in Hard Knocks. Jets are the most interesting team now because of Rodgers. Aaron sort of likes to control narratives. Won't be able to here. He can be prickly. And teams that are on it don't have a great track record of winning. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back. Nice to have you at LTN as we get ready. Geez, it's already here. Next weekend is NASCAR weekend up at Road America as the Xfinity Series makes their annual trek to the most beautiful racetrack on the face of the earth. And we are fortunate enough to have John Everett, the PR director at Road America, joining us right now. John, you got to be pretty charged up by now.
Guys, everything's going great. The weather's looking good for next weekend, and we're excited to get NASCAR Xfinity cars on track. We've had a tremendous summer, and we just encourage everybody to get their tickets early at roadamerica.com, print them at home, and breeze on through the gates. If you're looking for something to do to camp with the family, this is probably the place to do it. And another cool thing is that we've got a shuttle going Friday night to the Plymouth Third Track for the Road America Challenge. Lots of big names are starting to get on the ticket there. And Josh Bilicki, one of the local favorites there for NASCAR Xfinity, is going to be pulling the double. He's going to be running MSA over there at Plymouth Third Track Friday night and then running NASCAR Xfinity on Saturday. So that's something to check out as well.
No, this is the first year now. We had the Cup Series here the last 2 years, and 2020 was the COVID year and all the crap that was around that. So, saw a couple articles out this week. How are things looking as far as ticket sales go for this Xfinity weekend? There was talk that maybe a lot of the fans would be upset because the Cup Series didn't have here, but from the article I read, it sounds like that's not the case, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely not the case, and we couldn't be more proud of all of our fans and all the support for Road America. It's just proof positive that people truly love coming for the experience and staying for the race. I mean, kudos to NASCAR for being
leftovers or the DMV number 97 or house cleaning. Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Impress even the toughest critics with Bona. When you clean your floors with Bona's uniquely formulated plant-based floor cleaners, you can impress the unimpressible with your beautiful, clean floors. Find out more at Bona.com. Bona, for floors that impress.
Here for 21 and 22, and we had a lot of fun with that, and we encourage them back. Again, change is constant, and we have to adapt to that change. But also, all kinds of racing is just good for the sport. NASCAR being in Chicago was just another great way to open up a lot of people's eyes to actually come check out different types of racing and check out Road America. I mean, back in the day, people used to drive down to Indianapolis, watch the 500, then they would drive up to Road America. They would also go to the mile. So it's that Midwestern contingent that's exciting for us about really opening up a lot of new eyes and seeing a lot of new fans. And that's what we've seen. NASCAR Cup helped us a lot. We are tracking really, really well as far as ticket sales, even before NASCAR Cup came. So that's proof positive that it was good for Cup to be here. It was good for Cup to be in Chicago, and we hope to see it return. But in hindsight's 2020, we're looking at the NASCAR Xfinity weekend being just as substantial, and we encourage fans, again, try to get your golf carts early, try to get your campsites early, because a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I'll wait till the last minute, or I'll see how the weather works out. That's not the case, man. Stuff is going fast.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys are to show that this is the busiest track, one of the busiest tracks in the entire country. I mean, it's not just NASCAR weekend. The week after that, you have one of your biggest weekends of the year with the IMSA Sports Car Weekend. That's one of my favorites. I mean, the amount of cars that are there, and the whole weekend's kind of a little different this year because the main event is going to be on like Sunday morning, and then there's going to be another race right after that. Tell us what the IMSA weekend has in store for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting how things get moved around schedule-wise, but we, again, encourage everybody to get their tickets and golf carts and camping early because IMSA is going to be massive. You've got a tremendous amount of manufacturers involved in this weekend, a tremendous amount of different types of brands. So if you're into BMW, if you're into Aston Martin, if you're into Chevrolet Corvettes and things like that, Acuras as well, they're all going to be on track through the Michelin Pilot Challenge and also the WeatherTech International Challenge. So it's just incredible seeing this many amount of cars, this type of field. They're over at Lime Rock this weekend, and everybody has been paying attention to that. They're going to be making the trek across the United States to us right after the NASCAR weekend. So, again, the schedule is packed. There's always something going on track. There's always something happening. And lots of entertainment options from disc golf to family fun zones to incredible concessions. So just cruising around and favoring, checking out new spots such as the Carousel Viewing Trail and the beach, and also all kinds of different friends and family gatherings that are happening out there. So two action-packed weekends definitely coming up. And, it's been a little hot this summer. We haven't really seen a ton of rain. We've seen some, but I don't really mind if my lawn is totally dead as long as the fans can have a good time.
Perfect for camping and not very many bugs.
Not very many bugs at all. You know what? We've been fortunate. Sometimes that's a good thing when it comes to the rain. I worry about the farmers as well. We definitely like to see them get enough rain to where the crops are working well. But another positive thing about Road America is that we run rain or shine. So if we do happen to get a couple pop-up thunderstorms, that only makes it more exciting on track.
Now, John, this NASCAR weekend coming up, you got some support series coming in that some of the NASCAR fans probably aren't used to seeing. The Porsche Carrera Cup is going to run with them, and then there's this new series called the Grid Life. What's that all about?
It's certainly something different. We're always looking to spice it up for the fans. Grid life is real racing. These guys are going to be on the big track. A lot of people say that there's a lot more beating and banging than you're probably going to see in NASCAR Xfinity because a lot of these guys don't really have much to lose. Again, with the Porsche Carrera Cup as well, if you're a sports car fanatic or just a racing fanatic in any right, you want to see some close racing or you want to see some guys probably passing in areas where they shouldn't and they kind of learn the hard way. That's definitely something to keep eyes on track. So we're excited to have both those series here, as well as the Ultimate Streetcar Challenge will be over at the Motorplex on Sunday. So that's it's a full weekend, a lot of fun. And again, we just encourage everybody to kind of get their tickets, get their campsite early, because I think it's kind of cool. You can roll into Gate 4 and find your campsite on Friday or even Thursday, and then jump on that shuttle Friday night over to the Plymouth Third Track. Get yourself a beer, get yourself a turkey leg, watch some great open wheel outlaw type stuff and sprints, and then jump back on the shuttle, come back, and then hang out all day Saturday and watch some incredible NASCAR Xfinity racing. Plus, race fans can stay until the next day at noon. So if you're camping, don't worry about having to pack everything up and try to get out of Dodge. You can always stay till the next day at noon. So that's nice.
The PR director at Road America, John Everett, and it sounds like a fantastic weekend ahead. Let's keep our fingers crossed for great weather. John, thanks for being on, and we'll talk to you in the very near future, my friend.
As always, thanks for having me, guys.
You bet. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
This Friday, it's the second annual Road America Challenge featuring the IRA Sprint Cars, the Plymouth Dirt Track Racing MSA Sprints at the Fair Park in Plymouth. This special event is one of the biggest races on the schedule, featuring many of the top open-wheel drivers in the Upper Midwest. Join us as we partner with our friends at Road America to give you this exciting racing program of open-wheel action. That's this Friday night in Plymouth, just off Highway 23 at the Fair Park. We'll see you there.
Check this out. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited. With Colin Cowherd.
But it is funny that scouts and GMs and executives and often coaches fall in love with just talent. And I've argued for years that quarterback is 50% talent and 50% intangibles. If it was just talent, Dak Prescott's not in the league, and either is Kirk Cousins. Dak Prescott is all about intangibles, almost all.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Kind of funny having John Everett on and talking about how great everything is at Road America. And it must be just a coincidence that yesterday I was out visiting family in Pennsylvania this week, came back yesterday. Oh, by the way, those Garmins aren't everything they're cut out to be. It sent me, I wanted to take the Tri-State Tollway around Chicago, and it sent me right onto the Skyway through the middle of town, which didn't make me very happy to start with. But here I am, coming through and not going very fast and doing things like I don't usually do. I whipped a guy off. I laid on a horn as a guy squeezed in next to me. Well, there's no room over there. What the hell are you doing? You know, the things that get you shot because everybody's armed down there. But the worst part, listening to Chicago radio so I get traffic reports and not have to screw around. Oh, by the way, whatever. Outbound Dan Ryan Express lanes are 1 hour from Toohey from the junction. What the hell does that mean? I don't understand. Either way, the story they covered on the radio was NASCAR weekend. They're talking about how to get out of it. There's outs that are built into the contract, and it's still being looked at how to get out of it. What the hell is going on? I thought it was successful besides the rain. I just read that the occupancy rate in the hotels in downtown Chicago were up 79% over the same weekend last year, which, of course, my two partners were a part of. Why are they? I mean, what was? I don't get it. What's the negative? Just because it tied up traffic?
I think it's
politics.
Money. I think it's money, right? They only paid $500,000 and they want more.
Yep, money and politics. The politics of it are the people that don't like that type of stuff. They don't like the inconveniences. They don't like, fire-breathing, gas-burning cars running around the track. Stuff like that gets into part of it. And then, like Dan said, the other of it is the money. The deal was not really good for the city. I mean, the city didn't get what they get from all the other people that occupy that park over the summer. So, and if you got a 3-year deal signed, you can't change those numbers. So, I don't know. I hope they do it again. We're not, for all you people out there that think if they cut Chicago, they're going to come automatically back to Road America. That's not the case. So
not necessarily the case.
Yeah. So let's, if this race is still close enough that we all can go and enjoy it if we want. It was a really cool experience to see, and I'd love to see it with good weather, and they're able to do everything that they have on the schedule for the weekend. 3 concerts didn't happen. Neither one of the races went to their full distance. Let's have a full weekend once and then evaluate what it is. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
And then, so maybe part of this is that it was a successful weekend. I think even faced with all the crap they were faced with, it was still highly successful, especially the television ratings. And Brian explained in a previous show how this was fueled by NBC's desire to be in downtown Chicago. And, they're going to have to look at things. Okay, we're being told behind the scenes here from the people in Chicago, if we're going to do it again, we're going to have to pony up and give them, how much more money. And NBC, look at the ratings they had. It was spectacular. It was the biggest race of the year for any television, let alone the one that it just got turned over to for the second half of the season. So, if we up the ante, will we be able to come back? And then perhaps you'll have good weather and things will turn around. I think for sure that they're going to figure out a way of doing this again. If it's all they got to do is pay Chicago off to do it again, NBC is they fueled it in the first time, and I think they're going to fuel it again, right?
Well, I mean, go ahead, Dan.
180-day clause, right? I mean, each side that there was apparently in the contract there was a clause that said it's like a 180-day cancellation clause. So I mean, it count 180 days out from, was it July 6th and 7th is the tentative dates for next year. By then, if it doesn't happen by then, it's going to happen for sure. So I mean, that's the cutoff.
Right. And it's like I said, it's a dollar and cents. The figure, the amount of money, the expense that NASCAR had to put into having that event. Now, this year's expense was way more than it's ever going to be again, because this year you had to build all the walls, you had to build all the fence, you had to get all that stuff is there now. So that cost figure will go down a little bit, but it's just a matter of if NBC is willing to pony up what it takes to renegotiate the cost, if the city wants more, and B, if NASCAR is willing to go into that contract and change it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But again, you're dealing with massive amounts of politics, and it's not a track owner, and a series having to work together. It's an entire city council having to work with this organization, which makes it a lot more difficult.
And they act like they don't really like NASCAR. And I don't know if that's the case or not. Yes, there was some inconvenience because Chicago's already a cluster. And then you had to shut all these streets off, and then it poured, and then it flooded. I understand there was negative feelings there. Let's look beyond the tip of our nose here. It was there was a lot of positives that came out of it. And now next year's the last year of the TV contract too, right?
Yeah, and then the negotiations are going on with that. It looks like Fox and NBC are probably going to come back. They may carve some races out in the middle of summer for streaming. I don't think the Chicago will be part of that.
I don't think Chicago would be one of them.
So that's all got, that's all gets into it too. Maybe, if they rework contracts, I don't know what the price, if that's going to go up. I mean, the Chicago race, gave them a good case for raising the rates. I mean, up until then, they really weren't doing much rating-wise, and suddenly that kind of gave them a boost.
And, of course, Chicago, what really came out of that was the name Shane Van Gisbergen, who, I don't know about you guys, I never heard of the guy before, but it's a big deal that he came in and really looked as good as he did and won that race. Now, he got himself another race. He's going to be coming back from New Zealand. He's going to run the Indy Road Course race. And just because all of a sudden, apparently the New Zealand drivers are a thing, the Childress third car, it's the number 33 car, is going to be driven by Van Gisbergen's main rival over there by the name of Brody Kostecki, who it sounds like the guy's straight out of South Milwaukee, doesn't it? But either way, now he's going to be racing against Van Gisbergen also at Indianapolis, which, Dan, might be the last Indy road course race.
That could be. I mean, there's a lot of talk thinking they're going to go back to the Oval for next year, which I hope they do. I mean, Indy belongs on the Oval.
Yeah!
Right? I mean, hopefully that'll be the case, but there's talk for next year. We'll see. I mean, it'll be September probably before the schedule comes out, but that's the way things are looking right now.
All right. We're glad you're tuned in. At any point, if you'd like to talk to us, 414-421-7901. We'll sneak away and be right back.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 20th.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Mamá, papá, mi cuerpo crece a un ritmo alarmante y la ropa que me compren ahora me quedará muy pequeña muy pronto. Pero su billetera no tiene que sufrir por la moda con los precios bajos de la vuelta a clases de Amazon. Amazon, gasta menos, sonríe más.
29th, the smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with 8 adult. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This Friday, it's the second annual Road America Challenge featuring the IRA Sprint Cars, the Plymouth Dirt Track Racing MSA Sprints at the Fair Park in Plymouth. This special event is one of the biggest races on the schedule, featuring many of the top open-wheel drivers in the upper Midwest. Join us as we partner with our friends at Road America to give you this exciting racing program of open-wheel action. That's this Friday night in Plymouth, just off Highway 23 at the Fair Park. We'll see you there.
The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Pennsylvania.
Brett Dalton on top of the flag stand, puts the green flag in the air, and we're racing at Pocono.
Who will conquer the tricky triangle?
Chastain with a small advantage on the outside. Hamlin is right there, puts a squeeze on him, puts him up, and he's in the wall.
It's the highpoint.com 400.
Sunday, coverage starts at 12:30 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Today's race at Pocono will be televised on USA. The green flag is at 1:50 Central Time. Coverage begins right here on the Big 920 at 12:30. Also can be heard on the iHeartRadio app. I got to tell you, I really like this Alexa thing. You walk in there and you say, Alexa, play the Big 920. There's no back talk. There's no excuses. There's no changing the subject. There's no negotiating. She just does it. How great is that? I love my Alexa. So it's a way of listening. I'll tell you, it's a very good way of listening. This week, Ryan Preece told everybody that he expects to be renewed to drive the 41 car. He really hasn't done very much. Cole Custer actually did a better job in that car last year, who Priest replaced. Neither driver brings money. It's part of the way Stewart-Haas does business. But really, when you look at the big picture, who has done anything at Stewart-Haas Racing this year? It's not really one of your front-running teams. It's crazy, isn't it?
No, not at all. I mean, Kevin Harvick is sitting 9th in points. He's their top guy. And then you got to scroll, and you got to keep scrolling, and you got to keep scrolling. And there you find Ryan Preece 26th in the points. Not good at all for him. The big penalty that Chase Briscoe had has him mired in 31st in points. So he's struggling. And Eric Almirola is 27th in points. So, 3 of the 4 are buried.
What? I mean, they were one of the top teams. Isn't that funny how, and I wouldn't say no, that's not the word. Funny is not the right word. Isn't that odd that a team can be one of the front runners and almost instantaneously you lose it and you're wondering what the hell hit us? What happened here? Nobody lost their ability to drive, right?
No, it's got to be in just maybe not doing enough work to figure out the setups in the cars. People just hits things, and it's funny how a team can be. On the other flip side, a team can be bad for a while and suddenly hit on. They say they throw a year away and work on next year and getting things together, and suddenly they're on top. I mean, we've seen that happen as well too. It's just odd that you just lose it, and you don't. I guess you don't know. That's a part of it is you don't know why you lost it, and it's such a small little thing can make a difference that you got to get it back. And it is strange a team with the resources that Stewart-Haas has to not be up there.
The Ford camp as a whole, is struggling. Yeah, Logano and Blaney are the only Fords that have any victories this year. When you look at it, but then you have BK's operation there. He's 11th and 12th in points. The 2 cars right next to each other, Brad and Chris Buescher, and they're standing to probably punch their ticket into the playoffs this year. So you got one on the rise and one on the fall. Now, the rise for Roush Keselowski was a lot more because they were terrible. They were in the complete sewer, and they've been able to kind of bring themselves up. But then you also got Michael McDowell. He's sitting there right now, 16th.
McDowell is getting to be hot property.
Well, that whole team is. I mean, front row is for what they have for resources and what they've accomplished is amazing. I mean, and you look at who they lost through the years. I mean, they've had people cherry pick their people and move on to other things. I mean, I think Blake Harris came from there, right? He's the crew chief on the 48 car. Then right before that, the guy before that got taken too, and I can't remember what his name was. But it seems like that team with little resources is doing a lot, and they're the ones that are really surprising everybody.
And by the way, if you haven't noticed how Kevin Harvick is kind of enjoying his last year, it certainly would be a big deal for him to win one more race. But he has softened to the point, and I don't know if you caught this, he gave Joey Logano, he gave a gift to the Joey Logano Foundation of $12,000, kind of to re-stir the old, remember that when they got into it, and he says his wife, Logano says his wife wears the fire suit in that family, and then he made T-shirts that said I wear the fire suit, and it was a real nice donation for his own foundation. Well, he softened up and gave Joey Logano, and they're patting each other on the back and making up, and come on. Just go ahead and give each other the same crap you gave each other before. It was more fun. I guess, Harvick is going to be an announcer next year, so he's starting to pave the way for himself. I love everybody. Don't worry about it.
Hey, remember this? Talk about Stewart-Haas. I mean, look at last week at New Hampshire. They got that 10 car out. He had the lead. It was maybe going to pull off a win here, and what happens? He drives it straight in the wall because they left a tire or a wheel loose.
Their own worst enemies. When they finally have something where they could win, what happened? I did notice, by the way, we didn't mention yet that Monday they ran the race at New Hampshire after getting rained out on Sunday. Martin Truex was the man there. I mean, he absolutely dominated there, and it was overdue, that's for sure. And they talked to him afterwards about what's going on for next year. Guys, it seems to me the overall pipeline is not just overrun with prospects just chomping at the bit to come in. So he says, I haven't made up my mind yet whether I want to come back next year. He's about as wishy-washy as you can get. He even tells you that he's wishy-washy. But I guess the point would be that's the top. They're the main cog in the Toyota wheel. What happens? Who do you bring up? Who's
the only guy you see that's even close to being ready to run the Cup Series, and it's because he did it before, was John Hunter Nemechek, who's doing really well in the Xfinity Series right now. That's the only guy I can think of. Sammy Smith is in his rookie year, and he's still got a lot of learning to do. So I don't see him being ready to go, but that would be about it. I would assume, Dan, that's probably why Gibbs signed John Hunter Nemechek, is to have that guy in place if somebody decides to leave.
Yeah, because it's something they lost a bunch. You figure after the Xfinity, they don't have much there. You got to go back to the Truck Series to like Corey Heim, and a big loss for Toyota was when they lost Kyle Busch, because Kyle Busch Motorsports and the Toyota backing when the Truck Series.
They were the pipeline.
Yeah, and it's gone. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I think other than Nemechek, I'm not sure who would be there. And right now, I mean, Truex and that 19 car, I think, are the dominant car in the circuit. I think they're the guys to beat right now.
Yeah, I think he'll be back, and I think it's a joke for anybody to think he wouldn't be. Another thing to consider, and you got to do it whether you want to or not, Nemechek, does he actually bring any money whatsoever? Everybody looks for what can you bring us. Nemechek isn't exactly overladen with sponsors, and he doesn't have the money.
He's got some. I mean, I think he brought someone who was in the other ride with the front row for a while. I mean, there's money behind him.
There is. Yeah, well, is he the man? Corey Heim isn't the man. Kyle Busch took him to church yesterday in the Truck Series, didn't he? And just showed him what experience looks like. We're glad you tuned in. We're going to sneak away for a break. We got some results to bring you after this, and lots of other fun things. Hang in there with us.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with 8 adults. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This week on NASCAR Live, Jeff Gordon joined the show.
It's more than just being in the playoffs. It's about being competitive where you can win races and go win a championship. That's what we're all about at Hendrick Motorsports. Yes, it's important to us. It's important to the fans. It's important to our sponsors to be in the playoffs. But we want a lot more than that, and that's what we're searching for.
There's much more waiting for you each week on NASCAR Live.
Every Tuesday night at 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And now the LTN presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
The dog days of summer are upon us in the dirt side of things here. We'll start Tuesday night. Eagle River, Wisconsin. In the limited late models, it was Josh Narosky, and in the stock cars was David Blackberg. Francis Crick, Wisconsin, they had their King of the Creek, the big special for the IMCA stock cars. Tuesday night, the modifieds took center stage. Mike Mullen picked up the win there, and in the Grand Nationals, it was Mike King. Also Tuesday night in Starver, Pennsylvania at the Lernerville Speedway, the All-Star Circuit of Champion Don Martin's Silver Cup was there. $25,000 to win, and Kyle Larson won that race for the second year in a row. Wednesday night over at Francis Crick at the 141 Speedway, the King of the Creek, $10,000 to win for the IMCA stock cars, and Mighty Mike Mullen picked up the win over Benji Lacrosse, two modified stars battling it out in the stock cars. Pretty decent race they had there on Wednesday night. Good crowd as well. Thursday night up at Ashland, Wisconsin, the ABC Raceway, the Wissota Challenge Series, $4,444 to win in the late models. It was Jake Radetzky grabbing the win. In the Wissota Modifieds, it was Shane Sabrowski. Mason City, Iowa on Thursday, the USMTS Modified Tour, $3,000 to win. Jim Chisholm was your winner. York Haven, Pennsylvania, the BAPS Motor Speedway for the World of Outlaw NOS Engineering Sprint Car Series. David Gravel got the win. And Thursday night in Brandon, South Dakota at the Houston Speedway, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Silver Dollar Nationals night number 1, $12,000 a win, went to Ricky Thornton Jr. as he continues to absolutely dominate that tour. Friday night, this is the first time I've said this all year, we had rainouts across the area. Seymour, Superior, and Houston's Lucas Oil race all rained out on Friday night. They did race at Chilton. They got one feature in before the rain came in the Grand Nationals. Maverick Rue got the win. Over at Darlington, Wisconsin, the Lafayette County Speedway, the limited lates went to Jason Robbins, and the modifieds was Jed Freeberger. Fountain City, Wisconsin, the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and the USRA Modifieds, Josh Anks was your winner. And the limited lates went to Corey Reese. Jim Falls, Eagle Valley Speedway, Wissota Modifieds went to Kevin Buzzy Adams, and the limited late models went to Cade Nelson. Mason City, Iowa, night number 2 for the USMTS Modifieds, $5,000 to win, went to Terry Phillips. West Burlington, Iowa, the 34 Raceway for the All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Cars. Zeb Wise got the win. Bill Baylog was there. He finished second. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, the Williams Grove Speedway for the World of Outlaw NOS Engineering Sprint Car Series. Logan Schuchart on the last corner, last lap, past Brad.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Sweet to pick up the win there. So his sensational season continues for Logan. And Gas City, Indiana, the I-69 Raceway for the USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Car Series. Indiana Sprint Week kicked off. Justin Grant got the win on another last lap pass on Friday night. Last night we had more rainouts as we try to break the drought around here. Plymouth, Cedar Lake, Deer Creek all rained out. Shawano got in, $3,000 to win for the IMCA Modifieds on hand there. Johnny Whitman grabbed the win there. In the late models, it went to Todd Frank. The stock cars went to Mitch Stankowski. They raced up at Sturgeon Bay at the Hill Raceway. The IMCA stock cars were the headliner. Caden Lemieux picked up the win. Mason City, Iowa, the final night of the USMTS Modifieds there, $10,000 to win. That went to Derek Ramirez. Kokomo, Indiana, night number 2 for the USAC AMSOIL Indiana Sprint Week. C.J. Leary grabbed the win. Down in Banner, Illinois, the Spoon River Speedway for the All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Cars. Bill Baylog picked up the win in the All-Star Circuit of Champions. He was so happy because he goes, I finally won a All-Star race outside of the state of Wisconsin. He ran on that tour for a couple of years, and all his wins came around here. So he was overjoyed. He pretty much started on the pole, and he had to hold off a bunch of heavy hitters to pick up the win last night. That was cool to see. Night number 2 at Williams Grove for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Rico Abreu got the win. And finally, the big prize of the weekend was in Brandon, South Dakota, the Houston Speedway for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. The Silver Dollar Nationals. It used to be run in Greenwood, Nebraska. That track closed, so they moved it over to this track here. $53,000 to win, and Brandon Shepard with his own team finally got a big win. He's been waiting all year long to bust out and get a big win, and he finally was able to pull it off. Kind of cool for him to pull that off, Dan. It's heading into Fairbury next weekend, a race we used to go to, but we can't because we're going to be up here for the NASCAR weekend. But it's a lot of momentum he needs going into that race for sure.
Yeah, and it's a big deal down there. I mean, Fairbury, if you get a chance to get down to a dirt race and see the Prairie Dirt Classic, that town just loves the place. And you got to go make the trek to the bank, and it's all over at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Night, yeah. That's pretty funny. By the way, Brian, if I had known they were racing at Williams Grove in Pennsylvania, I probably would have stayed for a couple extra days. I didn't realize it.
Oh, yeah, the World of Outlaws, too, yet.
Yeah, my granddaughter lives like 20 minutes away from the track. Great. Kind of late now, isn't it? The results are from around the paved track universe coming to us from my friend Paul Reichert of La Crosse, Wisconsin. Starting at Slinger Speedway last week, it was the Small Car Nationals. We had Travis Kreuzer in the Slinger Bees, Al Strobel in the Super Bees, Sean Urich in the American Super Cup Series, Ayrton Brockhouse in the Legends. In the sport trucks, it was Casey Vanderloop and a young man whose name you're going to be hearing a lot more of, Penn Sauter, won in the Bandoleros. His dad told us as soon as the kid bulks up a little bit and he will be into a late model, I think he's going to skip any other lower class and he's going to put him right into a super late. But that's just a thought. I'm not positive about that, but the kid is growing fast. As a matter of fact, he's about as tall as his dad right now, so it'll be interesting. At Wisconsin International Raceway on Thursday night, it was Jordan Thiel in the super late models and Brent Strelka in the pro lates. Friday night at Norway, they ran the super late models. Brazen Bennett, the third generation racer, won over there. At State Park Speedway, they ran the Big 8 late model series. It was the Larry Deachens Memorial. Grant Brown was the winner. And at Toma, they ran the late model Triple Crown Round 2. Alan Borntrager was your winner up at Toma. Last night, the big show was at Wisconsin Dells. It was the Assembly Products Shootout. $5,000 to win for the pro late models, and Mike Litchfield won. It was a rain-shortened event. Dan, you were there. And how long was that rain out anyway?
It rain delayed. It didn't get shortened. They finished the thing. It was with about 27 laps to go. The rain came right. Mike Litchfield took the lead right the lap before the rain came. He timed that perfectly. Kendrick Cryer kept them honest for a while. They had to delay maybe about an hour or so. They dried the track and they went and they finished the race. And Litchfield went on to win the full distance. So they did get the whole thing in.
Very nice. At Jefferson, the Midwest Truck Series ran up there. Dylan Schuyler, who's a regular over there, his first time in one of those Midwest trucks, drove Scott Lynch's truck. Of course, Scott Lynch has been pitting for Conrad Morgan for decades and just decided he wanted to buy a truck and become a car owner and puts different drivers in at different tracks. And he put Dylan Schuyler, who knows the Jefferson track, and won his first time in a truck. First time for the car owner, first time for the driver. A pretty great story at Jefferson yesterday. At La Crosse, the NASCAR late models, it was the Fair Time 50. Danny Fredrickson won that one. At State Park Speedway, the ASA Midwest Tour, and I'm not really sure. That's the same ASA Midwest Tour that ran at Slinger, right? For the opener.
Correct.
The Larry Deachens Memorial, and Brock Heinrich was your winner. And also, the ARCA Series ran at Pocono yesterday. Jesse Love was your winner. The as we mentioned earlier, the Southern Super Series, Blizzard Series ran at Pensacola. William Byron won it going away, but got DQ'd, and Jeremy Doss was declared the winner the next day or the night of or something like that. So that's what we have tonight. We'll tell you more about this stuff when we come back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with 8 adults. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Every Sunday at noon, we replay the choice cuts of Packers history. Join us for Packers Prime with Doug Russell.
It's the 1996 NFC Championship game as we go back in time.
The countdown is on, and the Packers are on their way to New Orleans for Super Bowl 31.
Packers Prime, Sundays at noon on Milwaukee's new home for the Green Bay Packers. 97.3 The Game.
And welcome back to the program. Tonight at Slinger Speedway, the Pro Late models take center stage. Also, the Super Bees, the high school racers, and the Slinger Sixers all racing at Slinger Speedway tonight. Here's a little tidbit for you. Richie Waters, you know the name? He's a car owner out of North Carolina, ties to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where he's from. He used to be with Scott Hansen back in the day. He's planning on being at the WIR race, and he doesn't have a driver yet.
Well, there was talks that Mike Mullen was going to drive that car. So,
really, does Mike Mullen have any experience on pavement?
No, that's why it would have been really interesting to see. And I haven't heard since, and I didn't get up to 141 to talk to those guys because that's going to be one of the things I was going to ask. But Mike was like getting fitted for the seat and stuff a couple weeks ago, and Mike drives his modified for Ricky Lemons, who is one of the main sponsors for Richie Waters' deal. He was going to maybe have him in the car, but I don't know yet.
Didn't Johnny Sauter drive that car down at New Smyrna?
Yes.
He's got his own now, or what?
That's not the name they're talking to. Just thought neither one of those names are who they're talking to. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
You have a name that you know of?
I do, but I'm not going to share it on this program. I think I'll share it on the Hangover Show. Hey, there's another group that's talking about coming into NASCAR. Now, you hear about this stuff all the time. This group is from Germany. Okay, all of a sudden we're getting overrun with New Zealanders. Now there's a group called 3F Racing. They're making a serious look at this thing. They hired, do you guys know who Ryan Vargas is? I don't.
Yeah, he drove some Xfinity races. At Johnny Davis' team.
Okay.
Yeah, not a bad kid.
All right. Well, anyway, he's supposedly the director of competition for this new 3F team. They have an alliance with Richard Childress Racing. I don't know that that's really the story as much as look at what this is going to mean for the price of a charter. Another new team coming in that's going to want to buy a charter because to try and compete without one is not viable. It's not a good business plan to do that. So you need to pony up and buy a charter. Whose charter is actually going to be available? And then not just that, but to get it, what's it going to take? You can't start up a team without getting a charter, it seems like to me. And this is, by the way, the last year of the charter whole program, which is also being the Race Team Alliance is in heavy negotiations right now. Seems like an odd time for a new team to be coming in, doesn't it, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the situation is on, what they all got behind them, I guess. As far as charters that are out there being available, what's going on at the 31? Someone's going to have to go there. Are they going to keep that, quality 2 cars? Are they going to sell that charter? Are they going to keep that charter? Is that a place for Shane Van Gisbergen to go? Is Austin Hill move up? I mean, he's probably ready for, and then there's a Childress Alliance there.
Where? Where?
And Rick Ware too. Yeah, and that the 51 charter, I think, there's talk that might be in jeopardy as being 3 years now in the bottom 3 in points, and I think it's down there right now. So I mean, if it's this is the third year, there was a clause that said NASCAR could take it.
And an interesting idea I heard floated this week that would be some of these lower budget teams that have charters. What would it look like if they were to put together a program where you put, say, a Shane Van Gisbergen into their car for your road course races? You put a Justin Haley in your car for the super speedways. You find a short track stand, I'll put it in that car for just the short track races, and you win a race like Shane did, and you put yourself in contention for the playoffs. Remember how screwed up that was last year when we had one car in the owner's points and another car not? Now imagine if a team would do this. That would throw this thing into a complete frenzy. But it was talked about this week for some of these teams to try to up their profile and maybe moving drivers around. Interesting thought.
Yeah, Rick Ware could sell one and make himself a nice chunk of change too. I mean, what was the going rate? Was it last year?
10 million, wasn't it?
And so can you imagine now it's about supply and demand? I would think, like I said, but I would think that it somewhat is determined by what the long term is for the charter program. It seems like it's going to be back, but I'm not the one sitting at the table negotiating with NASCAR about this either. So, there's probably a lot to do with it yet. I can't imagine. Oh, time goes in a hurry, doesn't it?
Denny Hamlin wins today.
Ooh, all right. Just for that, I'm going to say Truex for the second week in a row. And Dan, you picked it right last week. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, you took my pick. I was going to take Truex 2 weeks in a row. I'll go. I'll take William Byron. We'll go for the pole.
That's easy. That's too easy. Let's go really hard and go from the outside to the front row. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we love our audience every Sunday morning. What we want people to remember that listen to this program religiously, they already know it. It's like gospel. Real race cars have doors! Even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Thanks to our engineer, Matt Losi, and to everybody for making this the #1 download on the Big 920. iHeart Milwaukee and Madison. Yes, sir. See you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.